But let's go controversial now. And it's a few of these issues that most people have run away from, or have been running away from discussing, especially in public. Some of those states that were controversial with the results that came out. And especially the ones that the INEC chairman got confronted with, both controversially, like we know with Elder Godzude Orubebe, and of course APC's protest as well in Rivers. So I'm talking Rivers State, Kano in particular. There have been allegations of how skewed the numbers were to one particular side. In Kano's case, it was skewed towards the APC. In Rivers, it was skewed towards the PDP. And also talk about, underage voters. There were pictures all over social media talking about children voting and all of that. What's your take on it?
Well, I think about the underage voters now. The only way you can identify if someone is an underage voter, you can't really blame it on the doorstep of INEC, to be very honest with you. That's my sincere opinion. I do not think that INEC would be on ground to know that, oh, this is an underage voter or something. I mean, in the first place, we should ask questions. Who registered these people in the first place? Now that we are using card readers. I mean, it means that you have a PVC before your card would be able to be read. Yes, exactly. So now who registered these underage voters in the first place? That's the first question. Now, secondly, on the day of election, when an underage voter gets to the polling unit, you're supposed to present yourself to a polling official who is going to check through your card, your PVC, and then take it through the card reading process, and then you do accreditation proper, and then you vote. So now, when you see someone who is an underage voter, like the INEC the spokesperson to the INEC chairman said, it is the duty of agents, the party agents who are there, to actually bring it to the attention of the polling agents. The INEC official that come here, there is an underage voter situation here, and then what do you do about it? And then that person hands him or her over to the security agencies. It's so simple. If you notice anybody who is an underage voter, or you think this person is underage to vote, then you report to the security people. After all, we have police, we have other military agencies and paramilitary agencies. A lot of them were there. So, what were the polling agents doing? They did not report such cases to the police.
John, do you agree that it's that easy to...
No, not really.
To handle
we really have to look at the electoral process as a whole process. You don't just come on election day and begin to shout, no, where were you during registration? Where were you during the claims and objection? And then you come on election day. And that is why I didn't join the bandwagon of people shouting for Rivers votes. I call them killer votes. Rivers, Katsina, Kano.
and serious bombshells.
They just drop them and they say, wow, it's over. Yeah. But ordinarily, these are, I call them socio-cultural issues, underage voters. It's not today, it's been there. There are some places in this country, they don't even vote. I served in the East and I know what happens sometimes.
And people have said that also happens. So how is it happening when we know that a lot of talk, I saw a lot of charts online about, how both parties now have representatives in almost every polling unit in Nigeria. So what happens when the two main parties have agents somewhere and elections still don't hold and results are declared? People are saying that happened a lot this time.
You must appreciate the fact that agents too are localized. They are based in a particular environment. And then you must understand that when issue of a party being overrun by the other arises, especially in those extreme places like Kano, in Rivers, obviously, there are dominant person in those areas. There's nothing the agent can do except he's ready to lose his life. And with the level of stakes that's involved in this election and security concern, the agent will just look away, especially when he's being talked to. He has to listen. You understand what happens on the field, except for people who don't understand how our politics runs. Our politics has very high stakes, and then there is what I call intimidation of the highest levels, especially for this particular election, such that whether you are an agent of a particular party, it's only when you have equal chance, that things happen. You analyze votes from the south.
Are you saying that can be fixed in the future? Is this something that's going to always be there?
On a brighter side, because now we have two parties now, dominant parties, I believe over time we are going to balance these issues out. But because of cultural issues, as I said, cultural issues, traditionally a side is for this side and the other side for the other side, then it becomes hard. But I believe over time we are going to get there. We have come a long way from where we used to be, and I believe Even though people are shouting about Kano vote and shouting about Rivers vote, those states have always delivered killer votes. Let me use that word again.
Massive number.
And, you know, so over time, I believe things are going to balance out, and then we get to where we want to.
Still talking about Rivers, do you think Governor Mechi had a case in deciding not to go through with accreditation and voting because there were no results sheets? It's something that people have talked about a lot, and I think even the INEC chairman addressed it, saying it's none of your business. Do your part first, then when we get to the end results, you can now tackle that. You're deciding not to get accredited and voting was your fault because all the facilities for you to do that were there already. Result or collation was a long way away, and you decided not to vote because of that. You think you had a case?
I mean, it's simple. This is a simple personal decision. I don't want to get accredited. So you can't even review it. I mean, here is somebody who said, excuse me, I don't even want to get accredited. And then that's his opinion. So if he doesn't want to even get accredited, much less talk about voting now, I mean, he's so much entitled to it. And so I do not think that anybody needs to subject that to review, to be very serious. And then, I mean, to be very honest with you.
But he had a point when he said he knew why there were no result sheets there, because we're going to collate whatever it is on plain sheets and then go to the offices and write it in the proper result sheets, which was supposed to go to INEC, and that was their plan, which was why he refused until he was there, until he wanted to make sure everything was there so that the process was followed. You don't think that was a valid enough reason?
I'm very sure the INEC officials would have their own reasons for not showing the result sheets, if indeed the result sheets were there, because I listened to the spokesman to the chairman of INEC, and then he said that no polling official is expected to, or should I say, the polling official was not mandated to show the governor the result sheets in the first place. So if that is their procedure, well, it's fine, it's okay. But I think about the governor saying that he doesn't want to get accredited indeed is a matter of simple personal opinion.
Do you agree?
And
I want to disagree a little bit. Governor Mechi was from the other party. I want to believe you understand what goes on. And I would have loved, as a public affairs analyst, to really see how far the mettle of the new party he was could go. Unfortunately, him and his faithful didn't get out to the field. So for us as commentators, we have very little to say about that. But I believe maybe he has a thing to show. But in another word too, I would like to say maybe it's a case of a tactical maneuver.
Let's talk about something that's surprised a lot of people in a few battleground states, like they were called, that swung interestingly in the opposite direction. Start with Benue, for example. Benue has traditionally been a PDP state since 1999. Yes. And then all of a sudden, virtually everything, House of Reps, Senate, same thing with Kogi states, swayed completely to APC. What happened in those places? I mean, a lot of people were surprised that Benue in particular voting for General Buhari.
I mean, the first question you need to, and that's the basic question you need to ask yourself, who are the stakeholders in these states? Benue, for example, like you talked about, the former governor, Akume is a very big stakeholder in that state. And so you cannot take away the fact that now that he's with the APC, then...
But he was there in the last election.
Yes, but then during the last election, you know that the APC has not gained this kind of momentum. Okay. And then we had ACN, CPC, and what have you. But now, you can see that the alliance brought about a very strong force for the APC. Yes. And that's just the magic.
But in the same Benue state, the governor is PDP, the Senate president, who's the third most powerful politician, if you want to put it that way, in this country, is from Benue State.
You have to look at the dynamics running up to that election. Like Wale said, several bigwigs left the PDP. In Benue, it was more of PDP losing than APC winning. I mean, Dr. Samuel Otom came from PDP to pick a APC gubernatorial ticket. That speaks a lot, speaks volume. And then you look at the governor himself, has issues with a lot of power brokers in the state, has issues with probably workers in that state. And then you also look at the domino effect, the bandwagon. You know, everything was just coming together for the APC in that state. Same with Kogi too. Several people in the PDP left to the other party.
Kogi was almost a landslide.
You know, so I saw it coming personally, but people couldn't see it from the other side. Yeah. But when you begin to see people who have who are so important on your side, leaving to the other side. Like Lyndon B. Johnson said, he said, in politics, you don't tell anybody to go to hell, except you can take them there yourself. So by the time politicians begin to tell each other, go to hell, you'll be ready for the hell yourself. Yeah. And so I think that will happen in those swing states, really in the North Central, where people moved from the ruling party to the other party, and you see them delivering.
Were you surprised by Ondo State?
Well, I'm not so surprised. I'm not so surprised because you notice that the governor defected too late, a little too late. And then there was an initial PDP structure in that state before he joined. And then immediately joined. Naturally, you expect a governor to take over the leadership of the party structure exactly in that state. And then that caused the problem. Exactly, because the other guys who were holding the mantle of leadership before never wanted to leave the stage. Yeah. And then, of course, as the governor, you have to be, it is expected that you are the leader of the party. And so they were not able to amicably settle that phase. And that was exactly what led to the collapse of the, should I say, the collapse of the Philippine state. Yes.